World History Modern, Section 1, Part B. Time 40 minutes. Directions. Answer questions 1 and question 2. Answer either question 3 or question 4. Write your responses for Section 1, Part B, Short Answer Response Booklet. You may write your responses to each question on the lined pages designated for that response. Each response is expected to fit within the space provided. In your responses, be sure to address all parts of the questions you answer. Use complete sentences. An outline or bulleted list alone is not acceptable. You may plan your answers in this exam booklet, but no credit will be given for notes written. Go on to the next page. Use the passage below to answer all parts of the questions that follow. Revolutions have been rare but momentous occurrences in modern world history. They have given birth to nations whose powers markedly surpass their own pre-revolutionary pasts, nor have revolutions had any significant national significance. In some cases, revolutions have given rise to models and ideals of enormous international impact and appeal. Major revolutions affect not only those abroad who would like to imitate them, they also affect those in other countries who oppose revolutionary ideals but are compelled to respond to the challenges or threats posed by the enhanced national power that has been generated by these revolutions. Political upheavals and socioeconomic changes have happened in every country, but revolutions deserve special attention, not only because they are extraordinary significance in the histories of nations and the world, but also because of their distinctive pattern of social and political change. Revolutions are rapid, basic transformations of society's state and class structures, and they are accompanied and in part carried through by class-based revolts from below. That a Sipkel, United States political scientist, Out of States and Social Revolutions, this book published in 1979. Question 1, Part A. Describe one argument that the author makes about revolutions in the first paragraph. B. Explain one piece of evidence from the period after 1750 that would support the author's argument about revolutions in class. Part C. Explain how one piece of evidence from the period after 1750 would challenge the author's argument in the passage. Go to the next page. Use the following two images to answer all parts of the questions that follow. Image 1 is an illustration showing astronomers employed by the Mongol Ilkhans of Persia making calculations, charting their observations, and using astronomical instruments early 14th century. This note, the illustration was included in a world history manuscript that was produced for the Mongol court. Illustration 2 is from a Hebrew translation of the Canon of Medicine, a Muslim medical text. The translation was produced by a Jewish scholar at the court of the Christian kings in Sicily circa 1250. The illustration shows various stages of a physician's visit with a patient. Question 2, Part 1. Identify one way that image 1 illustrates an effect of the Mongol rule in Eurasia. Part B. Explain one likely purpose of the inclusion of image 1 in the manuscript. And Part C. Explain one way that image 2 illustrates the spread of scientific knowledge in the period before 1450. Go on to the next page. Question 3 or question 4. Directions. Answer either question 3 or question 4. For each, answer all parts of the questions that follow. Question 3. Identify one way the technological changes facilitated trade in the Indian Ocean in the period of 1200 to 1450. Part B. Explain one way that the trade in the Indian Ocean in the period of 1250 to 1450 led to political change. Part C. Explain one way that trade in the Indian Ocean in the period of 1200 to 1450 led to cultural change. Question 4. Answer all parts that follow. Part A. Identify one way that technological changes facilitated global trade in the second half of the 20th century. Part B. Explain one way that increased trade in the second half of the 20th century led to global political change. Part C. Explain one way that increased trade in the second half of the 20th century led to global cultural change. Go on to the next page. This is the end of section 1. If you finish before time is called, you may check your work in this section, but do not go on to section 2 until you are told to do so. Be sure that you have done the following. You filled in the circle on the last page of section 1, part B, short answer response booklet that indicates whether you answered short answer question 3 or short answer question 4. Place your AP exam label on your section 1, part B, short answer response booklet. Place your AP label on your section 1, part B, short answer response booklet. Completed the identification information as requested on the front of section 1, part B, short answer response booklet. Write your answer to the short answer questions 1 on this page. Do not write outside the box. Do not skip lines. Write your answer for short answer question 2 on this page only. Do not write outside the box. Do not skip lines. After you've completed your response to either question 3 or question 4, completely fill in the circle that corresponds to the question you have answered. Write your answer to short answer question 3 or question 4 on this page only. Do not write outside the box. Do not skip lines.